Okay, let's start 4-9, which is about metric measurements. We learned a little bit about metric measurements in science, and now we're going to learn mathematically how to change from one unit in the metric system to another. So an easy way, or an easier way to help us remember the order is to remember a mnemonic device, like what we did when we were doing the Mohs hardness scale. So for the metric system, the order that they go is king at the top, Henry, doesn't, usually, and this is underlined for a reason, drink, chocolate, milk. King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. So what does it stand for? It stands for the prefixes kilo, hecto, deca. U is for units, and we'll talk about that in a second. Deci, centi, and milli. So King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Kilo, hecto, deca, units, deci, centi, milli. And I usually, when I'm trying to make it, I usually go down K, H, D, U, D, C, M, and then milli, centi, deci, deca, hecto, kilo. For whatever reason, it's easier for me to remember the actual prefixes going from the bottom up. But we'll talk about what works for you tomorrow in class. So the U that I was talking about for units, there's 3 types of units. There's units for length, mass, and capacity, which usually, and especially in science, we refer to as density. So length is in meters, mass is in grams, and capacity is in liters. It can also be in cubic centimeters usually, cm, but liters is the main one. So meters, grams, and liters. So those units stand for meters, liters, and grams. Okay, but in our mnemonic device we say U for units because the unit depends on the question. If you're talking about length, you're going to be using a form of a meter. Could be kilometer, could be millimeter, could be centimeter. If you're talking about mass, you're talking about grams or maybe kilograms or centigrams or milligrams. In capacity or density, you're talking about what's inside of something like volume or density, so liters or cubic centimeters. So if I have the question, how much water is in a water bottle? Water in a water bottle, that would be capacity. And the amount of water in a water bottle, the units I would use are liters. If I want to find the length of the boat, I am going to use length, here's meters, and the mass of a car, for mass is in grams, but gram is actually really small. Think of a sugar cube. I wouldn't want to measure the mass of a car in terms of sugar cubes, so I'm going to use mass of a car in terms of kilograms, because kilo is the highest form of a gram. Okay, here's my unit, gram, and kilo is as heavy as I can measure. Think of it like pounds in our system. So the mass of a car I would think in terms of kilograms. Okay, so I would like to bring your notes that you took during this video to class, and then on paper, there's no Google form. See if you can figure out what units you would use for 4-9, number 1 and number 2. All right, and then we're going to be converting them tomorrow in class. Thanks, everyone. Good night.